Maybe sunshine!
I can't go into too much detail about NewTron because it is based on sort of a real person, maybe, not maybe. And I don't want to embarrass that certain person it may or may not be. So basically, NewTron is the worst musician on Earth. He's tone deaf, he's crazy, he can't play, he can't write, he's like delusional, he's like on drugs. But for some reason, the head of the label, Victor Krieg, is funding his entire lifestyle and his entire career. He's buying him clothes, he's buying him drugs, he's paying his rent, he's putting out albums, and the guy can't even sing. He screams and just smashes on a guitar. It's like performance art. It's so awful.
Fuck you, Dr. Rocco. Fuck you in the butt. Oh, fuck you, Dr. Rocco.
And I think we find out in episode 2 that we're thinking, did his dad save Victor's dad an award? Does he owe him something? Like, why is he funding this guy who's crazy? And I think it turns out that he's just using him as a tax write-off, basically. And he likes to have him around because he's kind of a jester. And, he might think he's a little bit of a genius because it's very, this crazy abstract, just deconstructional, like, performance art bullshit that he probably thinks is way over his head. Because it's like Lower East Side, and he looks all punk and crazy and weird. And, he's like, oh, that's some kind of weird artsy shit that I don't understand. It must be good. So...
Andrés, who plays the manager, Diego, had this medical emergency, and he couldn't make it to set that day. So we literally had this limo that we had rented for the day, and we could only shoot half the scenes, right? And then we had to shoot around him. And so in which case we had to get another limo for another day when he was actually... So we had to bring like half the cast back. But you know what? It actually turned out, because I don't know if we could have gotten... Even with Andrés there, I don't know if we could have gotten everything for the limo that one day, because... Wow. The limo was so much more challenging than anything that I'd ever anticipated. I've seen scenes in limos before, and I was like, oh, it's shooting in a limo. There's no set, like we just sit there, No, it's really hard.
That limo was a learning experience, I'll say. I think that limo was the one time that not having the resources of a higher budget production really handicapped us. Because there were so many restrictions, like we couldn't move the limo.
So we had to keep it in one spot, which was in direct sunlight. So it was super hot. It was in the middle of the Bronx, loud. It was like a weird partly cloudy day, so sometimes it would be like super bright, and then the clouds would go over, which means you have to change settings on the camera like every freaking 3 minutes. And even the second limo was a much nicer limo, but it was still challenging. So this was like a 3-day shoot, episode 2, and so one of the days was Lisa doing all of her workout stuff, right? But at the end, she gives up, and she's sitting on the bench, and she's just like eating cookie dough and drinking half and half, which is like real. We just got a big old tube of cookie dough and a big jug of half and half, and she's just eating it and then washing it down with a half and half. But she hasn't done that since she was like 20, which is amazing that she's done that ever. That just takes a huge amount of depression, I think, right? But she's, she almost threw up because she was just like downing like raw cookie dough with half and half. That's probably not healthy.